So it's been a few days since I last posted something on here on YouTube, and I was just describing how I was going to try to make life better by following God's laws, specifically the Ten Commandments. And it's kind of hard to say if there's any real change because it's only been a couple of days, and I was complaining about, my health problems and just work and being tired and not having the things in life that somebody who puts so much effort into things should have, I think. Being that it's only been a couple of days, it's kind of really hard to tell, and it's also kind of hard to tell sometimes if I've really had the opportunity to make the decisions that one might say is, pleasing to Yahweh, or choosing to do that which is right. But I did want to touch on the fact that I was actually reading in Deuteronomy. I just opened the Bible and that's just where I started reading, and it talks about where Yahweh says that, or where Moses actually says that Yahweh had the Israelites wandering through the wilderness for 40 years to test them by hardships, to see what's in their hearts, whether or not they would follow his commandments. And I'm reminded of, during the holiday seasons, Christmas time, Easter, one person in particular said to me that during Christmas, it's okay that there's a Christmas tree if there's a family gathering. The important thing is not whether or not we have a Christmas tree, because God knows what's in our hearts. And I just think that the focus of the chapter, of the verses in Deuteronomy here that talks about what's in your hearts, and as a matter of fact, a few verses later it says to love God with all your heart and soul and strength, and that is actually likened to following his commandments, because it says that it will be well with the people to follow the commandments. Of course, if you have children, if you love your children, you want what's best for them, and you want them to listen to you in matters that you understand that they don't understand, because it will actually turn out better for them and they'll do better, and it will be well with them. And that is sort of the vibe that it gives off, if you will, to follow God's commandments. I don't think that they were given in order to betray us in some way, or to put us under the law, as some people say. Some people talk about, in the New Testament, Paul talking about the law of the flesh and the law of the Spirit, as if this New Testament, this just believe in Jesus, is the law of the Spirit, whereas the Ten Commandments and the law of God given through Moses is the law of the flesh. And if that's the case, then if it's the law of the flesh to not have idols, if it's the law of the flesh to not commit adultery, to not steal, to not kill, to not lie, covet, to not do all of those things, if that is the law of the flesh, then I really don't understand why there's any kind of struggle with the Spirit. Because if that really was the law of the flesh, and it wasn't the antithesis of the law of the flesh, which is to lie, to covet, to steal, to cheat, all of those things, to do things in order to please the flesh. If the law instead was to not do things to just please the flesh, then I don't know what the problem was in the first place. I mean, think about it. That's what we were given in order to help us to overcome those issues, to know what the issues are, and to be able to face them head on when those thoughts or ideas or issues arise. I still have to work. I'm contracted. I actually came in to the position I am at work now to work every Sabbath. And although what I do, I'm a nurse at a hospital, people need help even on the Sabbath. They don't just stop being sick to rest on the Sabbath day, on the seventh day. Somebody has to be there. And in that way you can say, well, your labors are noble or different somehow. But the fact is, as soon as I'm able to get out of the contract that I'm in to where I don't have to be working every Sabbath day, I'm going to take that opportunity. I'm going to rest every Sabbath day as much as I can from here on out. And that commandment is important to me because that's the one that seems hardest in our society to be able to follow, because every other one is just seemingly a simple choice as it comes along. But that seventh day Sabbath is the one that really makes certain things impossible for a person in a society to function as a part of the society. And it really does set a person apart. And I don't mean that as an, oh, you become holy, but it really does set a person apart from all of their constituents or anybody else in the social scene if they, from, sundown, the seventh day Sabbath, if they follow that Sabbath, they're just not able to do the things that other people are doing, including work schedules and that. And again, it's not like I work at a restaurant or something that people don't need on the seventh day. I work caring for the sick and the needy. But even doing that, as soon as I get a chance to get out of it, if Yahweh gives me that chance, I'm going to take it so that I can better do what he says and be blessed and see how it changes my life and show others the relevance of God's law even today. There's a lot of people who can talk about it. They could say it's still relevant, but I want to be able to prove it